So here is my top 5 Nike sneakers that released this year. I think Nike had a bit of an indifferent year in my opinion. I think for them, some of the trainers that released were nice, but also not great. I actually think Jordan Brand and New Balance had a better year in my opinion. However, I came up with a list of sneakers after looking through all the ones that I've reviewed and the ones that I've sort of held on to. And looking back, I think it's been pretty cool, and there's been some sort of nice models that have been released, and then we've had like a late release of the Spiridon as well. And the first one up, I think for me, is the Air Max Plus, and this is in this violet purple colorway, and it's an original sneaker that released back in the day, and an original colorway. I never owned this pair, and I think with a lot of these Air Max Pluses, at the time when I was younger, didn't own any of them. So for me, it's quite nice to sort of be able to grab these. And even though they probably re-released a bunch of times, I need sort of now over the last sort of 3 or 4 years where I've grabbed some Air Max Pluses, and this one, like the other OG colorways, I just like all of them, and I do really love this silhouette as well, because it's more of a good one for sort of autumn winter, but also springtime. And they work well as a kind of everyday sort of sneaker because of the fact that it has a really good sort of hard wearing outsole in my opinion, and it almost gives you that sort of trail hiking vibe to it, similar to like a Salomon sneaker. And also the air units in here, I actually like the way they're set up is, and I think it works well in my opinion, especially in terms of comfort, and the upper doesn't feel too restrictive either, so you get the best of both worlds. And also because they're all sort of multicolored, they are very loud. But what I find is, even if you get these sort of dirty, they don't look that bad. So that's why it's on the list. It's quite sort of a versatile sneaker. And then the next one up is one that, pretty much all of them actually I copped for retail. So I didn't, pay resale for any of them, which is really nice. And this one I was surprised to sort of hit on the sneakers app. And this is the Air Max Patta Chlorophyll. And in all honesty, I wasn't kind of sort of really after these, and it wasn't sort of really sort of on the top of my list, but after getting them in hand, I can kind of appreciate what they're about, and I really like the materials. It reminds me of the Air Max concepts pack, because it's using a combination of sort of different materials, and it's all done to a really sort of high standard. I like the mini swoosh as always, and then also like the denim material that's been used on the swoosh and then around the mudguard area, and then you can sort of see in the heel area as well. Whilst this sort of grey here is a nicer, sort of more premium suede than what you're used to, from getting from Air Maxes. But overall, it's not doing anything too special, and that's the reason why I wasn't kind of originally going to sort of look to sort of cop these. But because I just got them for retail, I'm really happy having them, because I'm a big Air Max 1 person anyway. And then next up is something which I, again, never owned back in the day, and I always liked the look of, and it reminds me of, a lot of the Jordan 7 as well. And I'm a big sort of Harachi fan anyway, and it's one of those things that I feel that they're more popular in the UK and maybe in the EU, but Harachis in general is one of those sort of things that we tend to wear a lot in the UK, and I never sort of grabbed an OG pair, so this is my first pair, and again, this one I actually got for retail as well, another sort of surprise. And I don't think there was much hype around this particular pair as there was with the Air Max 95s. However, with me, because like I said earlier, because I'm more of a Harachi type person, I prefer these over the Air Max 95s. I've had a few Air Max 95s over the years, but I just don't like the way they look on feet, especially for me. I'd prefer, to wear sort of an Air Max Plus. But this is like the first, trainer that I've got in terms of the Harachi trainer. And I'm hoping they release at least 1 or 2 OG colorways next year. But because they've had like a bit of a lukewarm reception to these, I'm not sure, whether they'll still sort of go ahead with that. But I think Corteiz have done a really good job on this, and the way they've done it, kind of used a sort of plain sort of sneaker, the camo print going inside on the neoprene sock liner is just really cool, and it feels really nice on the foot as well. And when you've got this strap, which seems to be a bit of a rage at the moment, is it's quite nice as well. I think the sneaker, when you put them on feet, they look nice. They look a bit funky off feet. But when you put them on feet, they're really nice. The only sort of, I suppose, criticism with these is just probably the leather that's been used on the front here. Just not sure how durable that is. But other than that, it's just a cool sneaker. From when I was younger, and like I said, another one that's never be able to cop. And then also one that's quite sort of versatile is this Vomero. It's a sneaker that's in at the moment, and I'm not sure, whether, like, say, in a couple of years' time, or whether I would have put it in so high in the top 5. But the reason why it's number 2 is just really easy to wear for me, and I also like the fact that with this one it's got a bit of a twist because it's got the glow in the dark cage, and then also the outsole glows in the dark as well, and then also the heel cage. So for me, it's like it's got like a funky design, and then even these sort of black panels, or almost sort of blue type panels that they have on the front here, they all kind of have that sort of 3M reflective hit. So it's looks a really sort of neutral sneaker, but in the dark it will just pop. And I think this is probably the best colorway from the Vomero in general. So they even went on sale on some sites I saw, and I nearly sort of doubled up on them in all honesty, but kind of sort of held off for now. But very cool, very nice sneaker, definitely worth grabbing in my opinion. But like I said, maybe in a few years time, if you ask me, I might end up putting the Harachi train or the Chlorophyll higher. And then lastly, my number 1 is the Air Max 180. This is something that I owned as a kid. So back in 91, I believe, or 92, I had a pair of these, and I ended up buying them, from those catalogue type places, and then paying it sort of on a weekly basis. And that's why it's quite special to me, because I had to sort of really sort of save money to get a pair, and I had them for a good amount of years, and kept them in pretty good condition, even though I didn't have probably like 1 or 2 trainers at the time. So for me, this is a good callback to something that I owned sort of 25-30 years ago. And for me, I just really like the way they look on feet, and they're comfortable enough. I wouldn't say the most comfortable Air Max units, and this Air Max unit being a bit bigger as well, because it's the big bubble version. But I think what they've done with the sneaker is just really well executed. Not massively premium materials, but I just feel, for me, it's just, it just means more sort of personally to me than anything else that came out this year from Nike. So, and especially with this colorway, because this is the original colorway that I owned. And I also ended up getting the Olympics pair as well, the purple pair. So for me, it's a really cool sneaker, quite sort of simple. Another one of these sort of classic Air Maxes, and I'm really sort of glad to have this pair.